Welcome once again to that show of shows, Pigskin, Facts, History, and News. I am your host of hosts, Fred Watson Jr., and we are back for the start of Week 8 to the NFL season. Hello, how you guys doing today? We are back. We have a Thursday night game. The Washington Redskins take on the Minnesota Vikings at the U.S. Bank One Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And before we get to that, let's let me just thank all of my viewers out there. Thank you for watching the show. I am feeling a little better. Was feeling a little under the weather the last time, as you could probably tell. Feel a lot better. Brand new week, going good so far. Thank you to all my viewers out there. Much love to you, as always. Those of you that are watching for the first time, thank you very much. Please go down below, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any comments, you have any thoughts, you have any ideas or how I can better my show, or if you just have a point of view that you would like to express or elaborate on, or anything that I may have said that you want to add to that or add your comments, feel free. Scroll down to the bottom. I definitely would love to hear from you, and hit the comment section. Okay. So, with that said, we are going to go into our history section, and of the Redskins and Vikings. I like to go back in time and like to share something with you on the Redskins and Vikings history. It's been a rich history between the two teams, and here we go. NFC wildcard game took place January 2nd, 1993 at Hubert H. Humphrey Stadium, Metrodome, Minneapolis. The attendance was 57,353. Mitchell, the Redskins defense, lead an upset win over the Vikings. And here we are facing the same thing again. We are underdogs in this game. And as we were underdogs in this wild card game, they were not supposed to win this game. So we're going to revisit that, and we're going to move on to the facts. All right. The defending Super Bowl champs were sick of hearing it. The Super Bowl champs at that time were the Washington Redskins, and they were sick and tired of hearing from the media and others that they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs because they had backed in. But the end of a 24-7 playoff win over the Vikings shut them up, and the cynics went silent. The Redskins embarrassed the Central Division champions with one would call an old-fashioned butt kicking. They prevailed in total yards, 358 to 148. First downs, 24, Redskins, Vikings 9. In time of possession, Redskins held the ball 42 minutes, 43 seconds to Minnesota's 17 minutes and 17 seconds. Wow. Amazing. Redskins return man Brian Mitchell was phenomenal with 209 all-purpose yards, 109 yards on the ground, 16 carries, nearly 7 yards per carry. He also returned the punt 54 yards and ran 38 yards on the fake punt to set up his 8-yard scoring run. Wow, he had a great day. He was tearing them behinds up. The Redskins defense was also super, holding the Vikings to 69 yards after they gained 79 on the game's opening drive. The unit blitzed, harassed quarterback Kirk Cousins, Sean Salisbury, who was starting only his 5th career game. He completed 6 of 20 passes, threw 2 interceptions, and was sacked 4 times, 3 by defensive end Fred Stokes. The Redskins were underdogs in that game going into Minnesota. It was an NFC wild card game, first playoff game. Both teams were wild card contenders. The Redskins went in there and they dominated the Minnesota Vikings, contrary to popular belief. Can it happen again? Yes. Is it impossible? No. All right. Moving on to our facts section. Got a question. I have 3 questions for you. 3 questions for you. And this relates to the Redskins Minnesota Vikings rivalry. How many times have the Redskins and Vikings played in the playoffs? How many times have the Redskins and the Minnesota Vikings played in the playoffs? Answer: 4 times. 1976 NFC Divisional Playoff, 1982 NFC Divisional Playoff, 1987 NFC Championship, and the 1992 NFC Wild Card Playoff, which I just discussed with you in the history section. 4 times. Question number 2. What is the postseason record of the Redskins versus the Vikings? What is the postseason record of the Redskins versus the Vikings? Answer: 3-2-2. 3-2. Redskins 3 wins, 2 losses. Vikings 2 wins, 3 losses. Finally, the last question. In those playoff games against Minnesota, how many times did the Redskins go on to the Super Bowl? In those playoff games against Minnesota, how many times did the Redskins go on to the Super Bowl? Answer: twice. They won twice, 1982 and 1987. Facts. Okay, moving on. Redskins news. Not a whole lot of news to report. There's probably about 8 days left, 7 days left to the deadline for trade deadline, NFL trade deadline. It's about 7 days left. And hopefully our organization will get smart and put Trent Williams on the trading block because he does not want to come back. If he does not want to come back, you can't force the man. Trade him. We'll find somebody else. Trent Williams is not the only left tackle in the world. We will find another one or we'll acquire one through the draft. Trade him. Josh Norman. I absolutely thought we played a great defensive game, even though we lost to the Niners without him. I think if he was in there, we probably would have lost 30 to nothing. So the fact that he wasn't in there, I think that helped us out a great deal. Trade him. Trade him. Trade him. These guys need to be traded. Trade him. Trent Williams. The Cleveland Browns, they're in desperate need of a left tackle. Trade him to the Browns. We can possibly get a first or second round draft pick out of the deal. We can get something instead of nothing. Trade the man. Josh Norman. Trade him. Who else? Who else? I'm brainstorming here. There's somebody else on our team that can get traded that we don't need. I'm not going to say Ryan Kerrigan. Ryan Kerrigan is still productive, and we still need him. Vernon Davis, trade him. Great player, great attitude, speedy tight end, still has speed. He's hurt right now, but let's move on. Let's rebuild. Trade him. There's somebody else. I can't think of who right now. I haven't liked the play of Morgan Moses. I mean, I don't know, he's playing like a stiff mannequin. I mean, he's just standing there like a scarecrow, and the defensive lineman, like on the 49ers Sunday, went right past him like nothing and sacked our quarterback. Um, then he gets his calls holding, and I'm not feeling Morgan Moses. Nice guy, nice person, um, but as far as his play on the line, I'm just not feeling him. Trade him. Um, Colt McCoy, quarterback. Alex Smith, trade him. Let's move on. Let's develop Dwayne Haskins. You say he's not ready? We'll get him ready. Let him take first team reps. Let him practice with the first team against the first team defense. Let him give him an opportunity to learn the plays. Give him an opportunity to read defenses. Give him an opportunity to learn the fundamentals of the game as a quarterback. Put him in. Look at Arizona. Kyler Murray, first pick in the draft. Bam, he's starting quarterback. No problem. You don't see him on the sideline. Daniel Jones, New York Giants, sixth pick in the draft. Bam, he's playing. Starting in front of um starting in front of Manning. Eli Manning. He's playing. Why? They got him ready. What did they do? Gave him first team reps. He practiced again, I'm sure, against the first team defense. They put him in the game. Why? To see where what his value is as a player in the draft. He's playing. Kyler Murray is playing. They're both doing well. How different is Dwayne Haskins? Come on, front office. Stop being stupid. You drafted the man for a reason, not to let him sit on the sideline for most of the season. Our season is pretty much gone, pretty much shot. Put this man in the game. Let him play. Give him an opportunity. Let's see what his value is, and let's see where he is and how we can further develop him as a quarterback. Let him play. You can learn so much mental reps on the sideline. Put this man in the game. Case Keenum is garbage. Case Keenum is trash as a quarterback. And Bill Callahan is they're interviewing him, and oh well, Dwayne is he's not quite there yet, and where you see Case, he's done a few good things. Case ain't done a damn thing in the last few games. The first game of the season, yes, he did well. The second game of the season, yes, he did well. He hasn't done jack crap since. Put that rookie in the game. Let that man play. You're damaging him. You're going to make him damaged goods. You guys drafted him as a 15th overall pick in the draft. He's one of the better quarterbacks that came out in college, played at Ohio State. In a short time there, this man threw 50 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions in his last year. He's got talent. He's got a cannon for an arm. He releases the ball very quick. He's very elusive in the pocket, though he's not a speedster. The man drops dimes. Let this man play. And all the other people, Alex Smith, Colt McCoy, let him go. Trent Williams, Vernon Davis, Morgan Moses. I'm sure there's probably more. They need to be traded. We need building blocks to this team in order for us to move on. We need to replace who we need to replace, and we need to build around our new quarterback. We need to build a better line, defense, offensive line. Our defensive line, we pretty much have the pieces in place. There's some pieces in place that are missing in the secondary. Linebacking core is mediocre. I think Montez Sweat needs to step it up on the edge. He's a rookie, but Montez, we need you to step it up. We need you to step your game up, and we need you to show us why we chose you We traded up our second pick and we moved up to 26th in the first round, and we got you. You need to show us your value. You need to show us your play on the field to your full capability of how you played in college. You went nonstop. He's a motor. He's nonstop, and we need to see that. Bat the ball down at the line. Get a quarterback hit. Get a sack. Get tackles for losses. Show us your worth. We need you, man. So if we can get these pieces in place, even through the deadline draft, get something out of it. Put some pieces in place. I know our season's gone this year, but next year, get this team ready, rebuild, because our defense has so much potential. We can be a championship caliber defense. We're just missing some parts. And if we add the right parts, we will no longer be the prey in the NFL. We will become the predator. We will become the predator. And we need that in our offense too. Excuse me. We need to put Dwayne in at quarterback. Enough said, what else more can I say? Because what we have right now is garbage. Case Keenum is, barely threw the ball 12 times in the last game, dude. I mean, come on. So, he's been ineffective. We need to sit him down and let the rookie come in and play. It's not going to hurt for us. Who do we have next week? Buffalo Bills. I don't think it's going to hurt for us to put him in the game the rest of the year. I mean, it's ridiculous. We let him play the rest of the year. We're in week 8 now. Our season's pretty much gone. Let him play out the rest of the year. And let us move on from there and build around that. Coach Bill Callahan, he's implemented some changes in the practices, which is a good thing. He's old school. He likes to run the ball. But there has to also be a balance. We can't just run the ball on every down. That's old school football. That's electronic football. We need a little more than that. We need a balance of passing and running. Yes, establish the run, which sets up the pass, but not run on every down. We need to improve in our play calling. Our play calling the last game sucked, and to win this game against Minnesota, it's going to take more than just running the ball, and it's going to take a lot more than bad play calling, because bad play calling will get us in trouble. The Vikings will crush us if that happens. Some matchups, the Redskins defense, they'll be facing their former quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has 1,711 passing yards. He has 13 touchdowns. The last 3 games, he's been on fire. He's been hot. He's passed for 976 yards the last 3 games and 10 touchdowns. So we're going to have to throw a wet blanket on that offensive line of theirs, which is a patchwork offensive line, and we're going to have to throw a wet blanket on Kirk Cousins. We're going to have to sack him. We're going to have to. If we put pressure on Kirk Cousins, as you all remember from when he was a Redskin, anytime you saw him play and there was a great defense that went against him, he was garbage. He was doo-doo. But if you don't put pressure on Kirk Cousins, he's going to find a way to pick you apart like any other quarterback in the NFL would. But we're going to have to play great defense. We played great defense Sunday. It wasn't enough to win the game, but I saw major improvements. Our defensive line is been getting sacks the last few games. There's been a lot of momentum in that. There's been a consistency. I would like to see the play calling from a defensive standpoint for us to be more aggressive on the line, to attack the quarterback, and not be afraid. Um, don't be afraid to blitz. Blitz. That's what's going to work against Kirk Cousins. Constant pressure. So if Manusky is smart, he will not only look at the film, but he will already know from Kirk Cousins being our former quarterback, that watching those games, that anytime you apply constant pressure on him from the defensive front, he was doo-doo. He was garbage. He couldn't complete a pass. He was ineffective. He was fidgety in the pocket. He would get sacked. He would make mistakes. But if you do not do that and you let Kirk Cousins stay in that pocket with no pressure, and you're trying to play back, he's going to pick you apart. Troy Apke, the safety that replaced Monte Nicholson, who got hurt. Um, Monte Nicholson will be out this game, by the way, as well as Vernon Davis, Chris Thompson, Josh Harvey Clemens, linebacker. Those guys, DeShazer Everett, the other strong safety, they're out for this game. Injury wise, on Minnesota, Adam Thielen is out. So we're just gonna have to play hard nosed defense, just like we did Sunday. We didn't allow a touchdown. The 49ers. Yes, I know the condition was bad. Conditions were wet. But I thought that we played an excellent defensive game, and we can play that again on a dry surface. It's in the indoors. It's not outside. Um, Field turf. So the track is going to be a lot faster. But I believe that we can play good defense and consistently. And pretty much for the most part of that game, we were consistent. I think that was probably the most consistent all year that we played defense was last week. We didn't allow a touchdown, but I know near the end of the game that kind of wore down, and the 49ers had 3 straight drives where they kicked the field goal and won the game for them. But I think our defense has very good potential. We're 20th ranked. We've moved up a little bit. We were lower, but we're improving, so that's a good sign. Our defense against Dalvin Cook. He currently leads the league rushing with 725 yards. This guy is running like a madman possessed. We have got to stop Dalvin Cook. He's running like somebody threw gasoline on him and set him aflame. And he's running like it. We've got to stop their running game. Their running game sets up the pass from Kirk Cousins. And if their running game is effective, then their passing game will translate and be effective. We have got to stuff the run, and we've got to make Kirk Cousins one-dimensional. So, with that said, we're going to have to constantly apply, we're going to have to stuff the line, and we're going to have to shut down their running game, and we're going to have to apply pressure on Kirk Cousins. And I think those are going to be the keys to the game. Is Manusky going to draw up a game plan like that? I sure hope so. Do I expect him to? No, I don't. I don't expect him to. So, the keys to this game, I think, also will be special teams. Field position will be very important in this game. Defense will be very important in this game. The Vikings, they have a 6th ranked defense. We're playing a lot of tough defensive teams. The 49ers were number 2 in the league. And you saw where that got us. Goose egg, 0. So hopefully we can establish a running game like we did last week and score. Take advantage of the opportunities. Keys to the game, we need to apply pressure, constant pressure on Kirk Cousins. We need to stuff the running game. We need to stifle the running game. Special teams, we need to take advantage of the field position, and we need to hold on to the ball and keep him off the field, Cousins off the field. And when we have the ball, we need to run the ball effectively and pass it with a mixture of running and passing. There's got to be a balance. We have to have a healthy balance because if we just can't run, if we just run the ball and they stop us after a while, like after that first drive last week, and we become one dimensional, we can't pass it, we're in trouble. So I'm going to go on record. I'm going to give another prediction. I have faith in my team. Yes, we've only won one game this year. But I do remember we had a game against the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. And we were not expected. It was 2 years ago, actually. We weren't expected to win the game. We were going into Seattle. You know, Seattle's reputation at home with the 12th man. They're very difficult to beat. They were highly favored. We had no chance in that game. Nobody was expecting us to win. The final score of that game was Redskins 16, Seahawks 13. We won the game. I believe this is one of those games where already the media and everybody else, including their grandmama, is saying that we have no chance. We're not going to win. Well, that's the reason why they play the game, because you never know. So I'm going to go on record once again, and I'm going to say that we are going to win this game. My prediction, Redskins 24, Vikings 17. All right, folks, that's all I have for today. It's been real. Getting ready for tomorrow night. Redskins and Vikings get it on. Once again, I am your host of hosts, Fred Watson Jr., Pigskin Facts, History, and News. Y'all have a great week. Y'all enjoy the game. And I will see y'all Friday. So, with that said, Skins Nation, love you. Peace. Signing off.